Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, first video of 2021. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you had a great start to your new year, and let's keep things rolling the way we've been doing for the last couple of years on this channel. So today we're going to do a video on movement or tempo. All right, I'm going to do a video on whether you're a tempo offense or you're a shift, trade, motion type movement offense, and why I think each one is really effective. Make sure you check out some of our sponsors, Dome Hats, the headwear partner of our company. This is my high school hat right here with our logo on it, orange bill, white. All right, hat with logo swords up on the back. On a Velcro hat, you could change the back. It could be snapback Velcro fitted. You could change the type of bill on the front, change the color of the panels. Check out their awesome online custom hat builder where you can make your own hat. Every hat is a story. Make sure you let Dome help you tell yours. GameStrat sideline replay system we use. Looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system, make sure you check out GameStrat. Baker Sporting Goods, which is the company that we get our uniforms from. We get all of our spirit packs, our players gear, shirts like this. All right, one of our weightlifting shirts. If we do any online stores for fans, we do it with Baker, so make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. Just Play Football is a powerful presentation. It's the software, the digital diagramming tool that I use to draw plays if I'm going to speak at clinics or do webinars, or if I do anything for my Patreon site. I use Just Play. It's a more powerful way to present your playbook and your game plans to your players, so check out Just Play. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. We have one in the weight room. We're going to be using it in the off-season. Elbows in, thumbs up, work on striking, different coils that change how tough it is to strike and compress the pad in. So as your kids get stronger and better at striking, you can change the coil to make them to get more resistance. Get your hips involved, elbows, thumbs up, proper striking position, where your eyes need to be, how to get out of your stance, all in your weight room in the off-season. So make sure you check out DifferenceUSA high and tight ball security training aid that we use. We bring it out with our players a lot in the off-season when we're doing different drills, and if we're doing 7-on-7 stuff, if we are doing 7-on-7 stuff, and the running back sometimes, if they're not involved, maybe catching passes. A lot of times with our 7-on-7 stuff, we'll do footwork and speed and agility drills, and we'll do some drills with ball security stuff, high and tight, keeping the ball up where it belongs, making sure they understand proper points of pressure, and then where that ball needs to be in order to hear the beep. If you don't hear the beep, you are not holding the ball correctly. So it's a really good tool in the off-season, really good tool when you first start camp, getting your kids to understand what that feeling is, all right, and where you want that ball to be held securely. So off-season, summer, preseason camp, highly recommended. If you don't hear the beep, you're doing it wrong. Ball security is job security. Make sure you check out high and tight. So we're going to take a look today at movement or tempo, all right? So usually in kind of today's game, you have two styles of attack, or obviously there's multiple styles of what you want to do on offense, and there's multiple ways to move the ball and score points. I'm not talking about systems right now. I'm not talking about the actual play calls. What I'm talking about is teams that either usually tend to play at a really high tempo with less movement, or teams that seem to shift, trade, motion, and do some things to create some issues for the defense. At the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to stress the defense. If you are a tempo team, like I have been for the last 8 or 10 years, we've been a good tempo team. I never thought we've been as fast as we could have been. But the thing about tempo, for me, the first thing that I love is it helps our practices. It helps us practice better. Everything we do is in that manner. We're getting more reps and periods. We're learning how to coach on the fly. We're learning how to make adjustments on the fly, because that's what a game is. You only get a couple minutes in between series here or there. Other than that, there's a lot of adjustments on the fly. So it helps our coaches as much as it helps our players. I think tempo is a good way if getting off the bus you are not equally talented, especially in the trenches now. All right, when you watch, we are getting ready for national championship game, Alabama, Ohio State, the 2 playoff games yesterday, all the college ball games. A lot of things won and lost in the trenches. All right, so when you get off the bus and you're not as good in the trenches as that other team, tempo can kind of even that out. So you can do some things at a really quick pace early in the game to try and get some first downs, get some plays, to where it's the number of plays, right? When you're a tempo team, if you get first downs, if you don't get first downs, it doesn't matter. If you can get first downs, though, what you're doing is you're getting numbers of plays up higher and higher and higher. So when Alabama had played Florida the week before in the SEC championship game, they ran 86, 88, 90 plays, something like that. Their goal was to wear Florida down by the end of the game. Yesterday against Notre Dame, they only ran 55 plays, but 24 of the 55 were first down. So 50% of their plays against Notre Dame moved the chain. So there's several different ways to score points, several different ways to attack, but tempo is a great way. If the talent is not equal getting off the bus, you can wear that defense down. You can look to gradually, as the game goes on, make those players more blockable than they are when you get off the bus. The other thing about tempo that I love is I want, as an educator and a coach, I want to be able to teach my kids, especially my quarterback in a read RPO system, I want to be able to teach them pictures. Pictures that we can see when we get into certain sets. This is how they line up in base. This is what they like to do. These are the coverages that they like to play. So even right now, if I've got drawn up the three high safety tight front, if we know a team is a three high safety tight front team, and when we're in two back, we're going to get some version of this alignment in this manner. The faster and quicker I can stay in that 11 personnel world, Y off world, 20 personnel world, however you want to look at it. The faster and quicker I can stay in that world, the more base looks I'm probably going to get. If I know what the base looks are, the more I can teach our players what we're trying to do. So if we got RPOs going on, and we're RPOing the overhang, we can make it real clear who the overhang is. If we're RPOing, all right, the high to low safety on the weak side, we can make it real clear who that is. If we've got to account for that middle safety in the run game, we can make it clear, real clear, identifying who that is. When you're a tempo team, you're putting the stress on that other team to be able to line up and communicate. And nowadays, everybody's getting better at it because you expect it. The biggest deal with tempo to me is you have to be able to change tempos. So I love it because of how it helps us practice. I love it because of how it helps teach our coaches how to coach on the fly. I love it because it helps us even the talent gap coming off the bus if we're not as talented. I love it because it gives me static pictures that I feel like I can teach my players off of. All right, but the thing about it now is defenses are seeing it more often, so everybody's getting better at doing it, so their means of communication are getting better. It used to be that you dive into tempo like this, and the other team could only run base defense. They can only do certain things because they weren't used to seeing it. Well, now everybody's used to seeing it. Everybody's used to practicing and communicating. So you will get more than just base theories, but you'll get a lot of base movements, and you'll get a lot of pictures that you can teach off of, that you can, get that static picture to where your kids can understand. This is the picture when we go to block power counter. This is the picture when we're trying to get the ball to the perimeter. This is who we have to get blocked. This is the extra figure into defense. If it's that three high safety structure, have to figure out a way to identify him, whatever number he is, where he is. So tempo can help you do a lot of those things. But then there's also movement. So you could very easily be a movement team. All right, so we could start in, and I'll change it up on defense just so we get a little bit different picture. So if we start, let's say for argument's sake, in this empty world right here. So if we're started somehow in this empty world, and let's just say for argument's sake, for right now I'll draw it up to where they leave a six-man box, they leave this backside safety here. We'll change it up. Probably got to go to some type of check where they can play the trips on this side without bringing anybody over, simply because we have two to the backside that they've got to be able to handle without walking the wheel out playing man-to-man. So right now you could start in empty. And obviously if you have the ability to run plays out of empty, that is outstanding. Right now we're in empty with the same personnel. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to motion the tailback back and create a 2x2 set. Once we set the tailback, we're going to bring the Y across. And what we're going to do is we are going to create that same scenario. Okay, so when I drew up the tempo set, it was 11 personnel or 20 personnel Y offset, where the tailback and the sniffer, or the H, or the hybrid, I'm sorry, the Y for us, that is, all right, that hybrid player, they were statically in those purple positions when I had them lined up originally. So that's the positions they were in. Well, now I started in empty, and I just brought us back to the same set by bringing the T in motion and setting them, bringing the Y and cross in motion. Now, I don't have to set the Y. All right, I don't necessarily have to, I can bring the Y across and get back to all the runs that I want to run, snapping the ball. I can still get to counter. I can get to Depending on if I had the back here or here, I could get to my zone read game and some other things. So I could bring the Y over and set them. I could leave the Y in motion and run my plays. But the bottom line is I have just shifted, traded, or motioned, or all 2 or 3 of those things, back into the original set that I had drawn up the first time. Now, what's the difference? The difference is now the defense has to go from this empty look, all right, may not be able to set the 3 technique where they want. If there's no back and they have to set the 3 technique away from the passing strength or whatever their rules are, that's going to be the first thing. They may not get the 3 technique where they want, okay? Then we go from empty to a 2x2 set. So they're going to have to make some type of adjustment, okay, to be able to go in that 2x2 set. Maybe they bump the backers to where the Willie's there, the Mike's there, the nickel comes back in the box, and now they're into some type of structure that they would play against a 2x2 set. Then we brought the Y in, and we went to a 2x1 set. So now they probably got to adjust again and go back in the box with these two, do whatever they're going to do with the weak safety there, tighten the corner down. So we just went from empty back to the same set, probably running the same plays now. All right, probably running the same plays because to me, offense is all about changing the presentation, not changing the play. So if we go from a tempo world to a movement world, and we go from a normal, all right, Y off, 11 personnel, 20 personnel, however you want to look at it, tempo world where we're ripping plays and we're trying to play out tempo. If we go to a shift, trade, or motion world, we don't change our concepts. So we're going to shift, trade, or motion back into the set to run all the same things that we ran in the tempo world. That's not going to change. But what we're going to do is we're going to change the presentation so that we give the defense more eye candy to look at. We're trying to change the run fits, possibly. We're trying to change where those guys were walked out and what their mindset is. They were defending empty first, bumped to 2x2, then it went to 2 back. We're trying to figure out if we can get them to set the 3 technique a different way. If we can get them to maybe have to cancel or add on games. So if we go empty with a mobile quarterback, they might have to gap out their D lineman with some stunts. They might have an empty check. Then we go from the empty back to 2x2, and now they got to get out of the empty check. Then we go back to 2 back, and now they got to get into something else. So if you can do both of those things, it's going to be advantageous as an offense if you can do both things, because tempo all the time, 100-mile-an-hour tempo all the time, is really not good because eventually the other teams figure that out. They know when you're snapping the ball. They know how quick you're playing, so they just get their communication done a little bit quicker. Yeah, maybe you can eliminate some fronts or some blitzes, but in today's game, the way it is now, the biggest thing you'll eliminate is personnel changes. Well, in high school, there aren't as many personnel changes anyways. If you're in a high school game, our game isn't like the college and NFL game where every time there's a substitution, there's another substitution. You'll see way less, in my opinion, and again, my opinion, excuse me, you'll see way less 12 men on the field penalties in high school with defenses trying to run guys on and off or whatever because they're trying to match the personnel of the offense. It's a smaller part of our game compared to the college game. All right, so what ends up happening is there aren't a lot of substitutions trying to be made. Maybe you can keep some D linemen or guys on the field that are tired, and that's a good thing. All right, but it's not a substitution deal, so the defense just learns how to communicate faster. So to me, as a tempo team, the way to make your tempo more effective is carry something else, whether it be a scan, check with me, whatever it is, you carry something else that now changes the tempo at which you are playing. And movement, building movement into a tempo world, all right, to me is some of the best that you know, and in my opinion, it's one of the best ways you can attack as an offense, because now that team has to prepare for almost a two-headed monster. They have to prepare for the team that lines up in personnel groups and rips plays. And then if you have the ability with some hybrid players, if you're Y that's over here, sorry, I keep listening as an H. If your tight end off can be a wide out, if he can stretch the field, if he can be a vertical matchup threat, but be a guy that can block in a box, now you can do everything from the same personnel group, and you don't have to make any changes, which subsequently means the defense has to be able to defend all those things, which makes each part of it even better. If you're a shift, to me, if you're a shift, trade, motion team all the time, I think the defense kind of catches on and figures out what they need to do best. If you're a tempo team all the time, I think the defense catches on and figures out what they need to do best. If you could be different, if you could go from tempo to shift, trades, motions, or if you could go from shift, trades, and motions to some type of semi-tempo, up-tempo, where you snap the ball quicker. So now they're expecting, that defense is sitting there waiting for that to change, and all of a sudden you snap the ball out of 5 wide empty. And the defense is caught on their heels because every other snap was some type of shift trade motion. Some teams do it after first downs or after big plays. So to me, on offense, not looking at systems and play calls and power counter, gap zone, wide zone, not looking at any of that. Just looking at philosophically how you play on offense. If you could be a tempo team and a movement, shift trade, or motion team, if you could carry both things in, I think you'll be more effective as an offense. As always, I appreciate everything you guys do for Play Fast Football as we get 2021 started. All right, we get on our way to a new year. Click that subscribe button, turn those notifications on so you know every time I do a video, or if I do anything on YouTube Live, you know every time that I do it because you've got your notifications on. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you like the content, or you don't like the content. It lets us know what we need to do and what we need to do better in the future. Okay, send me a message. Any messages that I see that come across, I try to respond to every single one. It doesn't end up spam somewhere or somewhere else. If it's in the comments and I see it, I'm going to try to respond to it. And again, I've done a bunch of videos off of comments, so I appreciate that. Let's get off to a great start in this new year. If it's a new year, let's do some new things. Let's not. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's 2021. We want to be off to a fresh start. It's a new year. Let's do new things. So let's figure out a way to keep this channel moving, keep the Play Fast community growing, find out some new things. Leave me some comments or messages on things you'd like to see, whether it be other coaches up here talking different things, more practice plan, more special teams, weight room stuff. Whatever it is on the YouTube channel that you want to see, leave me some comments. It's a new year. Let's do some new things. All right. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. I'll see you guys next time.